After him, we will have a question and answer portion.
Mayor, good afternoon.
I am not Pastor Kibulo. You just sit down. Really, in Davao City, I discourage people from standing up. You know, I'm just a worker in government, and I feel that the protocol is just too excessive for people. Trabante lang kami. Maybe a monsignor or a priest, pastor who is a holy man, ako hindi ako holy. Full of holes. Let me pay my respects to Attorney Emerson Aquende, the chairman of the Legal Education Board. Sir, welcome to Davao City, Panyero. And of course, I'd like to greet the Dean, Tony Torion. It's a very good one in all fronts. Very good. And of course, Ingrid, Ma'am, Sinore, Cardona. Ngayon ko lang alam na military engineer ka pala. Wow, kaya pala bright eh. You know, I'd like to just talk about the human side of Pastor Kibuloy. But after all, he is the prime mover of all these things. You know, way back in 1987-86, I used to go to Agdao, Nicaragdao. A lot of violence those days, but because of my passion for guns, I could just collect, paltik at the second hand, and I had to fix. Somebody had to fix them, and I used to go to Agdao because the mechanic, the gunsmith of Davao was there. Eventually, he was killed also by the NPAs. But along nung sa ali na pupunta ako doon, there was this chapel. A very simple chapel, the one that you use that's in many places. Isa doon sa chapel kay Pastor Kibuloy. And I could see Ingrid, Didit, no, yung mga original. But 14 of them during a service. And because I go there almost twice a week to have the guns repaired, ayun lang ang kaya ko. Pahay-hay na lang ako. Because he was preaching there, so out of respect, I would just bow and as I pass the place. Little did I know that the man who had really division would come up to something like this. In 1988, he called for me sa CYO pa yun, Jim, when I was running for, I think, the mayorship, and he said, susuportahan kita. And from then on, we became good and fast friends. He has been always with me, on my side, everywhere I went in life. He was there to help me, both financially, pati yung, even now, the use of the chopper, and nahiya lang ako doon sa sovereign citation because it's the same airplane that Rojas uses, yung kay Eric Gutierrez. Nagbayad ba kayo ng tax dyan sa aeroplano? Did you had to pay? Because the exemption there was, there is no other plane of its kind. Actually, it was a rip-off because nauna yung kay Pastor. So there was really a plane of the same kind. But you know, corruption in this country. Obedience to the law is optional. Up high in the air, in the cloud nine, are the billionaires and multimillionaires and becoming more billionaires by the minute because they got so much corruption is there. Hindi na nagbabayad ng taxes, tax exemption, like Gutierrez. He has about 11 air assets. And not a single centavo was paid for that. And Rojas, with the utter lack of delicadeza, uses the plane that is similar to Pastor. I'm just saying this because dito naman sa baba, ito yung binubugbog ng mga kriminal, ng mga drug addict, ng mga hood-upper, the lawless, the low life of society. Just as the same as those in Cloud 9. In between, ito yung the working mass of Filipinos, the law-abiding and the God-fearing citizens of this country being oppressed all the time, and even by government. Ito yung pinipilit talagang pinipiga, yung walang kilalang mayor, yung walang kilalang police general, yung walang kilalang congressman. Ito yun. Yun ang. Kaya ako galit. Let me just as any other time to say it. It's because the number one oppressor now is government. And even the poor Filipinos arriving from other places, coming in, OFW, and even just simple tourists. Pagdating dyan sa airport, ginahimulbulan. Yung sa Bisaya, yung when you dress up a chicken, you pull the feathers out. And when they go out of the airport o Padtalan, nandoon yung mga, lahat na, mga extortionists, mga estapador, and he is skinned alive. Tapos pagsakay, lulukuhin pa ng mga sakyan. And government allows it. And even government itself, nagtutulungan sila, lalagyan ng shabu, lalagyan ng bala, tanim bala. Ano, alam mo, itong checkpoints, pagka hinulugan ka ng pagbukas, katatukin, pagbukas mo ng bintana, ihulog yon. Tapos kung ikaw, alam mo yung anak mong walang kasalanan. Because you know your child. At sabihin ng anak mo, pakailan pa man ako nagamit, nahuli, papupunta ka sa istasyon. Pagdating doon, because of the quantity, no bail. Ikaw ba naman, you know, how eternally slow ang justice dito. And your son or daughter will be detained because the case is non-bailable. At makatiis ka ba nandyan siya, even if you know by heart, and even God would tell you, yung anak mo walang kasalanan, you cannot bear just the thought that your son or daughter would be in prison for a crime he did not commit. And yet, he is there because wala kang ikabayad. And that is why, mangungutang ka na lang, if it's just about 500, titiisin mo na lang. That's government. Whether it is allowed by government itself or not, it is government itself that is oppressing the people. Kaya lang sa totoo lang, kung nabata lang ako, I would have gone to the mountains. You know, I'm left. You know that, all of you. That always I've been allied with bayan. And that is when nasasaktan ako. And in my talks with Pastor, we used to discuss this thing. And he would say, dapat talaga, he's a human being of the first kind, Pastor. Dapat talaga tumakbo ka siguro. Maybe God will make you president and you correct all of those things. Baski saan? I do not want to offend anybody because it is not all of you doing it. BIR. Ang utang mo sa gobyerno, assessed 5 million. Makiusap ka. Okay, 3 million, go ka. Yung 3 million, 2 million kanya, yung 1 million bayad sa gobyerno. Alam mo kung talagang, if we just can if we can stop corruption, we would have solved 1/3 of the problem of this entire country. And we would have the money to do all the things that we've long wanted to do for the people. That's why it's very important to have lawyers. And I'm happy that Pastor finally decided. He had this vision. Alam mo si Pastor, vision or visionary. Iba yung vision, but the vision really. He has it. He's gifted with it. I don't know if he would be wrong this time. But alam ninyo yan, kayong malapit kay Pastor. 17 years ago, sinabi niya na he was dreaming that a chopper fetched him to bring him to the Gulf. So, and I thought it was going to Apo. But when he finally realized, he was there on the Malacañang grounds. Sabi niya, hindi man ito Apo na golf course. So matagal na niya sinabi niyan. Ako, tumatawa lang naman ako. But even if I don't become one, the fact that he dreamt about me somehow connected now this time with the presidential campaign as a candidate. That by itself, si Pastor talaga may vision. Alam niyan. At he said it time and again, many times sa program niya. Alam mo, meron ka kung ano dito, gano'n. At ako lang nang tumawa. Unfortunately, the other guy who was with us, yung husband ni Bingay, si Tony Duresa, si Charlie. Yun ang... So I encourage him that someday you might want to really put up a good law school. Sinabi ko pa, by the time I would have retired from government, I would be glad to be a teacher, a professor there, or whatever. Sabi niya, maganda yan. Sa bagay, kung matalo ako, criminal law ang forte ko, but I was a prosecutor was a trial lawyer for almost 7 years. O yan ang ano ko, ang forte ko. I remember this, kumakain kami dyan sa Marco Polo. Ako, Joe Calida, the Undersecretary of Justice. He's from Davao. No. And sila Bingbong Medjaldia, the son of the late Justice. They're also from Davao. Kumakain kami, dumating ito si Wendell, who's with Binay, but he is my brother. Sabi niya, usap na kami niya. So, sabi namin, Tol, hindi ka ba tatakbo? Tol, Brad, ayaw ko. So, sabi nila na, ikaw, Del, saan ka kumunalo si Binay? Saan ka pupunta? Sabi niya, alam mo naman ang forte ko, Tol. I know what he was referring. He was referring to the time when he was the director of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Sabi niya, alam mo naman yun, Tol, alam niyo yung forte ko. Di pag-alis niya, sabi ko sa mga abogado, ano ang sabihin ng gagong yan? 40% o 40 yung expertise niya. Tawanan kami kayo. Yun ang 40 ko. Ito, to si Wendell. 40% pala talaga lahat ng dumaan yan. So naglulukuhan lang kami. But he's a good man. And he is there with Binay, but I know that nag-hold lang yan siya. Well, anyway, I'm not really campaigning. It's all up to you at the end of the day. Mamili kayo. Sabi ko. Nakahilira kami dyan. You know, but at the end of the day, just place me number 4. Every time kasi itong media, mahilig sa rating. Oh, Mayor, ano ka na ngayon? Number 4. Tapos number 3, number 2, number 1 sandali. Tapos nag-slide kasi tinamaan si Pope doon sa stray bullet. You know, I was not really ranting. Pastor Kibuloy and everybody of you in this room know. Hindi naman talaga Pastor Kibuloy. Alam ni Pastor yan. Pastor, it was not really the Pope, but I was ranting against yung oppressing the Filipino people. You know, when you live in a nipa hut, do not throw a banquet for the entire barangay. You don't have the place. And not even the food to provide. Itong gobyerno, they did it twice. And every time there is a visit, I do not really care who is, it has work hardships for the Filipino. Walang daan, sinirahan mo ang Dewi, pati ang EDSA. Tapos, on midday, nagbabaan lahat kasi sinira mo ang EDSA. Yung iba, tumatay doon sa katabi, nanganganak, umiihi, lalaki at babae, umuupo doon sa sidewalk. This government lacks really the knack of governance. Walang pakialam ang mga every time that 5 days, no air traffic. Kaya yung pamangkin mo kung namatay, kapatid mo, di ka makasakay. Now, in Davao, there is no service of ship. There's no shipping activity going on because wala ng barko. At galit ako dyan kasi yung mga taga-bukid, yung mga mahirap lang, sasakay ng transportation yan. Kung pupunta ng Maynila, magdadala yan ng bigas, manok, itlog, at mga gulay. Ngayon, eroplano lahat. Anak ka ng putang, na pag wala kang paa, aakyat ka, you have to crawl. Hindi ka bigyan ng wheelchair ka rin may bayad. Ano klaseng? Talagang, those are the things that have to be corrected. If God places me there, all hospitals will have to provide, babalik tayo sa charity ward, depending on your capitalization or paid up, whatever. I will compute its earning mo for the last 5 years. Then I would tell you to provide a facility. It could be 30, 40, 50 bed facility. Ilalagay ko yung mga taga-gobyerno dyan. Maraming doktor na walang trabaho. Lagay ko yan sila dyan. Hindi magsusweldo ang hospital. They will take care of that ward. But if it needs the equipment, the use of MRI, then give it to them and I will pay. Ako ang magbayad. Paano ko bayaran yan? Itong syntax. Itong syntax kalaki ang kinita niyan. It was intended for social amelioration. Tapos itong kita sa pagkor. I will devote all the money sa health sa Pilipino. Ibibigay ko lahat yan. Itututo ko lahat yan. Ibayaran ko yung lahat na hindi ulungaw. Kasi we cannot build hospitals overnight. I mean, those structures are expensive. If you want, you just require every hospital. Whether it is really the hospital for the rich or the hospital for the poor, it's the same to me. You have to provide the charity ward. Ako ang magbayad. Para hindi burden sa kanila, I will employ government doctors and nurses. Doon sila i-assign ko. That would be one. And of course, itong pangtawid plus I will expand it, the coverage and one sack of rice for every family. Para sigurado na. Kasi kung yung nakikita ko si pang-ulam lang, pwede bigyan mo sila bigas. Ubusin ko yung pera dyan. I will cut on so many except infrastructures that are intended for mobility. We have to continue spending for the infrastructures because government has to lead in the spending of money so that the economy will move. There's money in circulation. But all other things, I will cut. Tutok muna ako sa tao. I said I'm left. Ano tang nauna sa amin tao talaga. Yun lang siguro rin ang sabihin. Kasi hindi man kayo nakikinig sa kampanya ko, dito na lang. Total, kay pastor time naman ito eh. You know, Pastor Esquer is a very good friend. And I said, I have defended them sa, yung iba kasi naiinggit. Kasi definitely, yumaman si pastor po, hindi man niya pera yan. It's for the congregation actually. He spends a lot for the people there. He bought a jet because international na siya. Sayang lang na dapat ako ang successor niya, pero hindi kasi ako pastor. But my dream before was to be a priest. Baliktad kami ni pastor. Totoo, ha? No kidding. There was a time after first year sa AB, sabi ko, gusto kong magpare. So I was referred to a PME ba? We had this long and for 2 days. Tapos after that, sabi niya, you're better off mayor ka ng isang syudad. Kasi marami kang sabi niya, do you like women? Yung una ko, of course. Sino bang ayaw ng women? Sabi niya, do you crave for them? Sabi ko, bakit ikaw hindi? Ayun ang sagot. Yung celibacy was the first topic of the day. Can you live without women? Sabi ko, mahirapan ako. So sabi niya, you better seek another vocation. But there was a time I was considering to be a priest. Only God pointed the road to, sabi niya, huwag ka dyan. Because the road to perdition is paved with good intentions. Better get out from the... Well, anyway, yan ang those are the extra bites that everybody wanted to talk tonight. I was just saying that the human side of pastor is, pati ako mahirapan ako makapaniwala na he has really blossomed into an international evangelist. And the only things doon kay pastor. Because pastor does not covet the money of the faithful. Alam ko yan. I've been there sa lugar niya. May kwarto lang. It's all really for evangelism. Nagkasama siya. Pa nga ang driver ko eh. Hanilet was in the States. He was working as a nurse. Pumupunta ta. Kung hindi ba naman love yan? Ito kasi nagdududa. Di ba kayo, let us this a family discussion. Di ba kayo, sinasabi ko sa inyo, di ba bingay, ikaw, Linyo, sabi ka na totoo. Sakaling kita dyan. Dinabi ko sila, ito ha, nandyan na. Malaman lang ng lahat, wag lang si Hanilet, pati si Sebastian. Si Sebastian, sumibat yung nanay. Puntang Amerika, tapos iniwan ako. Sabi niya, Basti, saan man si mama pa? Nasa Manila lang yan, babalik yan bukas. Dumating na 2 linggo. Saan na si mama? Wala naman. Hindi na. Ay, kasi uwi yan. Kaya nagdadala ng sentimento, kaya hindi niya alam, nagdadala ng sentimento yung bata. Kaya grow up na. So I had to deliver him to Manila. Doon si Inday, sabi ko, Day, you have to take care of Basti. Naghanap ng nanay. Walang nanay. Nagdala ako ng kaibigan ko na Tisairin. Sabi ko, ito na lang ang nanay mo. Ayaw ko yan. Nanay ko mataba. Payat man yan. Problema talaga itong buhay. Well, anyway, enough on the jokes. I'd like to congratulate for helping Pastor make it a reality in his life. He would have long wanted really to have that nung usap-usapan kami, sabi ko nga, Pastor, bakit ayaw mo mag-College of Law? And bahala na yung graduate mo, 2, 3, basta pigain mo ng gusto. Kasi come up with a first class na. Kasi kung pigain mo yan, siyempre ganon. Kami ganon eh. We started with 3, tapos 2, 1, 1. Pero pasa kami lahat. So sabi ko, baski mag-graduate ko lang ng 3, 5. Basta magaganda lang, pati gwapo, okay na yan. Pigain mo ng gusto yan. That's the way to do it. You know, guys, if you are really intending to day one sa law school, para ka na nagre-review ng bar. And find it a very preposterous statement. Memorizein mo yung libro, word for word. Memorizein mo yung libro. Hindi tatanggapin yung in your own words. Word for word talaga. Kaya yan na lang kung sinong, kasi dito alin nyo, mag-enroll ka daw? Ikaw unang bumagsak dyan. First semester ka lang. Yan, the standard should really be the highest. Kami noon, wala yung, kasi limitado nga ang classroom eh. Papunta kaming, papalik kami ng building. So second year, sabi ng pare na 2 lang ang classroom. So then, isa na lang. Sinasadya talaga nila. Fourth year, kukunti na lang. Pumasa naman kaming lahat sa awa ng Diyos. So anyway, we will pray that this endeavor of Pastor and Attorney Torion would succeed. This would, I think, be after 54 years. You know, we are a growing society. There are about now 104 million. But mind you, before that, sabihin ko muna, if I become the president, we have to go back to family planning. In the history of this nation, it was only Ramos who was very insistent in the implementation of family planning. Alam mo si Ramos kasi protestante. And into religiosity, siguro, sabi niya, just as a matter of religion, it is not really the law of God. Ako, sabihin ko na ngayon, before the congregation of pastor, I will insist on family planning. Kakalanding ko lang galing Cotabato kahapon. Naglanding ako dyan sa Pantalan. Look at this little girl. Sabi ko, ilang taong ka na? Sabi niya, bago lang siya, 14 years old. Buntis. God. Ilang anak mo dito? 6. Ito, 7. You know, it's good to have a religion. But when it becomes an incongruity sa buhay natin, huwag kayong sumunod. Wala ka dyan sa pari na yan. Totoo. Sabi ko, if family plan, balik ko talang 1, 2, 3 is a boundary. Hindi kaya ng Pilipinas. Dito sa atin, we do no longer have the prime lands for rice. Binigay natin sa corporations, multinationals, banana. Yun namang awareness ng land reform, binili uli ng landlords. Kung mayroon mang isa dito kape, isa banana, isa dito mangga, how can we implement it? We'll have to rationalize everything. I will have the Philippines map, color coding, and will indicate to you the best yielding crops suitable sa soil ninyo. That's what I intend to do. But I will pour money. Number 1 is education. Then 2, agriculture or food production. Number 3 is health. Sa health kasi, wala tayong pera sa ospital. And it would take long. I will just force the issue, maybe through legislation, they have to provide a facility there where the poor people can go. So, total, yung magmandoon, gobyerno naman, para hindi naman sila magreklamo. Or I will build, parang buildings like classrooms. Aircon lang para ma-accommodate yung tao. Kasi wala tayong, there's no such thing as a universal healthcare in the Philippines. Yung mga tao, pag sinabi second, third stage, kasi first stage, ang Pilipino pag tinamaan ng first stage, patay na yan. Pag may diabetes, the longest is about 10 years, 7 years. Kasi kung walang medisina. Lahat yan patay. Ang not even the average, walang pang yung sa gobyerno. Look at this stupid government. We contribute, pati tayo sa gobyerno. I mean, a government employee. Hanggang ngayon Pagdating ng panahon, yung sa SSS, yung it's money every month, it's a huge sum, And they're supposed to invest it in the highest yielding ventures dyan. Ang ayaw ko lang, dito, measly 2,000, and they are worried about 2029, which would create an aberration in the system. Look, you are holding the money. It's a lot of money. Why don't you go out in the field of investments and look where you can invest it, that it will grow? Bakit mo patulogin yan? Sabihin mo ngayon hanggang kalalaking pera niyan. Wala. Sa SSS, 2,000 lang. How much is the medication now for hypertension, diabetes, heart condition, kidney condition? 2,000? You're shit. Tapos dito, may anak ng leader niya, was employed in the SSS, receiving 500 million ba yan? In month? 500 million. Oh, year nga. Look at I said, it's an incongruity kasi ang gobyerno. It becomes a very incongruous thing. Yan ang sinasabi ko. And we are really aghast to realize that it is really government, after all, that's oppressing the people. This has to stop. This has to stop. Ang problema ko lang, I will end it by saying, this is just the warning to you and to everybody else. Maybe a lot of congressmen and senators will be re-elected or elected. And in God's good time, if I make it, like I said, inshallah, we will win fundamentally on a platform of corruption is the number one, criminality and drugs. Ito, ayaw ng mga tao ang pork barrel. Ayaw ng mga tao ang yung mga livelihood and huge sums o wala namang specifics on how it would be spent. Ayaw ng tao ang corruption. Because dyan malaki ang corruption. Maraming pera talaga, wag lang makorap. And I can provide all the services needed to help the Filipino alive, at least for some time. Ngayon, ang problema nito, the Congress prepares the budget. Now, the executive department is the disbursing si Abad. Ngayon, basi ilagay nila yan dyan. Kung ayaw ko, kasi may nasisilip ako dyan, tapos, I will not act on it. Magkakaroon tayo ng medyo crisis dyan. Maybe it's just a small crisis, maybe a constitutional crisis. Niwaringan ko lang kayo kasi pagdating yan, if we are at the crossroads at hindi kami magkaintindihan ng Congress, pag manalo ako, there will be something has got to give there. If they will insist, threaten me with impeachment or, nako no. Sabi ko, medyo watch out for this. I will not hesitate to declare a revolutionary government. Cory did it, I will do it. Sirahan ko sila, I'll use the money for the benefit of the people, and I'll just tell them, we will call for a constitutional convention, and we will go federal. Then, put the necessary safeguards to prevent corruption. At least, minimize. Yun ang tinatakutan ko. Actually, the greatest fear is, hindi yung droga, pati criminality. Corruption, I can't stop it. You know, if you are into the presidency for 2, 3, 4 months, at walang naniniwala sa iyo, sabi na hindi ko kaya, basi bigyan mo ako ng 10 years, hindi ko talaga kaya. Kung ganon. Presidente ka, walang, hindi ka maniwala sa akin, patay ka. Asigurado. Corrupt ka, tapos ayaw mo, I'll dispose of you. Ang takutan nila. Ang order ko sa police pati military, I will use the military. Go out, hunt for them, and kill them. Period. Pag may subpina ka na dyan sa ombudsman o sa human rights, sabihin mo, just like in Davao. Di ba? Ganun. Pag may operasyon may namatay, it was my order. We progress, we prospered. Sino mang namatay dito, ay puro kriminal. May namatay ba tayong inosente dito? I ask you, honestly, point out to be a victim of killing na, no? Pero extrajudicial killing, mahirap yan. Sabihin mo, mamatay yung tao na nakatali yung kamay niya sa likod or waving a white flag, that's crazy. Pati ikaw, there has to be a warrior in you kung lalaki ka. Pero what I'm saying is, itong mga police kasi, they have this 2 years basic course. Alam na yan sila, mayroon na silang criminal law and, justifying, aggravating, whatever. They are taught, and the military. Pero I will not hesitate to get rid of these idiots. Alam mo, I will end it. I won't just, because kay Emerson, class 72 kami, Marcelo, so way ahead ako. There is a provision in the Constitution that is not used. Kasi siguro wala namang presidente naging tarantado, naging presidente. But there is a provision there which says the president can grant pardons, criminals, absolute or conditional. Walang sinabi ilang pardons ibibigay ko sa isang buwan o sa isang linggo. It doesn't even say except to himself. The president, with the concurrence of Congress, can grant amnesty. Okay yan. Alam mo, pag inipit ako, gagamitin ko yan. Sabihin ko doon, legal orders. I will never dwell on illegal. Hunt for them, and if they put up a good fight, kill them. Pag dinimanda yan, piskal, ombudsman, human rights, pag sir, medyo napasubo kami, patay yung laboratory, okay, good yan. Kung ka sa lamesa, makapal yan, gano'n kakapal. Resigned. Pardon is hereby granted to. Bigay mo yan doon sa piskal. Yawa na yan. Pardon, anong panggawin mo pardon? Absolute. O basta magtrabaho ka lang. It does not even say to himself. Di pagbaba ko sa pwesto, pardon is hereby granted to Rodrigo Duterte for the crimes of multiple murder. Signed, Rodrigo Duterte. May prohibition ba? Tingnan yung, is there a prohibition? Wala. Pati ako. Mas lalo na ako. It should favor me because I'm the one granting. But anyway, I'll end it by saying this. Alam mo, 70 years old na ako. Now, if I get to be president, I'd go out at 76. If God wills that I will survive. Alam mo sa revised penal code, nandiyan sa last pages, that when you reach 70 and you're an inmate, you are entitled for release. Ayaw na kasi nilang matanda to, wala nang silbi. Ako 76 na, luko-luko ka ba? Labas. Ngayon, yan ang, kung gusto niyo, babuyan ng gobyerno, gagamitin ko yan. Ngayon, kung tamang-tama lang, do not press me because I have a problem. I said, this is an self-imposed limitation, a very constrictive period. Not to impress the voters, but to put the pressure on me. That within 3 to 6 months, tapusin ko yan lahat. Corruption, presidente ka, sinabi mong stop, tangina pag hindi kita sinipa doon sa opisina mo, totoo. Sinabi ko, huminto kayo. Na itong, ang problema ko, ang droga because it has produced a fractured generation. Alam mo dito sa pupunta na sa bukid ang mga animal. At pinapibili niyo yung mga bata doon, ang bayad, karabaw, yung kambing, itlog, anak. O dito na talaga tayo magpatayan. Yun ang ano nila. Dumating na sa bukid ang mga ulol. Ang mura na masyadong, I was in Pasay, anak ka nang. Harap-harapan. Hindi kasi nila alam, ako naglalakad ako ng gabi. Alam ninyo yan. Naglalakad ako ng gabi, may baril ako, pero I go out at night and talagang nanonood ako ng sitwasyon. That's why I have a good grasp of what the society is all about. Kaya ang akin lang, pang-warning ko lang, I'm afraid of a confrontation with Congress. Pero yung kriminal pati droga, dali yan. I will stop it within the first 3 months. Makakita lang nila siguro dyan na ang booming dyan, ang punerarya. Better build one. Yung medyo, wag yung mahal, yung ano lang, 50,000 structure dyan. Basta may tig-imbalsamar ka lang, okay na yan. I have to beg for your indulgence for this speech. But anyway, nandiyan naman lahat yan, kaya naman ito. I was just as, the things that we discussed with Pastor. Yun yung mga yan. Those are the things that we talked about when kami ng dalawa lang. We could end up almost 2-3 hours storya lang about the ills of our country. Binibigyan ko lang kayo ng idea. And what I have told them. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Mayor, the program says that you will be asked to answer some queries together with Attorney Aquende and Attorney Torion. Please come to the stage and take your seat. Who will ask the first question? Okay. The first question is, when do we eat? Wala pa pagkain. Okay. Question? Naumid na kayo? Question for the mayor, question for the dean, and question for the director.
You should ask Attorney Torion kung sino yung sekretary niya.
Mr. Mayor, the ambassador of Mexico visited you today or later?
I have to see the ambassador.
They might talk about the cartels who are coming to the Philippines.
This is the second time that he has asked for my... So may ano yan siya, I would not want to talk about the first meeting. But I think it's the same issue. Ambassador na? Ayun na. Nandiyan na? Tell him to wait until 9 o'clock.
Mr. Mayor, kumusta ang kampanya? Maliwanag ba?
Well, medyo after the DQ resolution, disqualification case, medyo meron ng nagbibigay. So I can move, hindi lahat. I want to go to concentrate on the north sa Taal. But I am hampered with lack of funds because I need the chopper and a small airplane to go there. Kasi malayo eh. But as the days would come, baka mas faster. So I would be glad to. Anything under the sun, presidency. Hindi naman ako sigurado makarating doon. But lang. You know, I can talk of drugs, I can talk of criminality, I can talk of corruption. Meron dyan, tita ko, but dalawa lang kami talaga who can hack it. But he can talk of drugs, criminality, but he cannot talk of corruption. Yung dalawa, si Daang Matubid, Gudang matuwid, kulubot-kulubot yung daang matuwid mo. Kaya kita mo, nagmotor ka lang dyan ng 2 metro, nahagbong na. Kulubot yung daan eh.
Okay, questions? More questions? So the mayor can entertain the ambassador. Yes, Edith of Philippine Star.
Mayor, good evening, good afternoon, whatever. Mayor, you mentioned earlier about a sack of rice
Yes.
to be given specifically to kanino, hindi ko kasi nakuha eh. So ano ang mechanics? Will they be given, what is this, may income, bracket for those who will benefit from
Those who are not, yung wala talagang trabaho.
Okay.
Those, yun ang dapat. O may trabaho man, ang dala is just barely enough for food. You know, the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
That's what, that's the cliche of, favorite cliche of Cory, the poorest of the poor. May poor, pero may poorest pag yun.
So, do you have specific income bracket talaga na or no income or what?
Well,
May level or
the criteria set forth by the DSWD would be good. And I said, the programs of Aquino, which would benefit the Filipino to the fullest, will be retained. I will not do away with them just because they were started by somebody or somebody else's toil. Yung mga mahusay, ipapatuloy talaga natin.
so you are just going to improve on it?
I'll just pangdagdag ko yung rice because there will be so many cuts in government spending except the infrastructure regarding the mobility and the movement of people. Yun lang. Pero yung ibang mga ambitious, not during the first or second year.
Let me make it clear lang, Mayor. Is it a sack of rice every month?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
Ang
you.
sako naman ngayon, hindi naman yung ganun eh.
Yeah,
Yung
but
sako
25
pang
kilo.
consumption eh, ganun lang yung kalaki. Yung
Yeah.
sako ng NFA,
May 50, may 25 kilo
hindi
po.
na nila maubos yan, actually. If you give them the sack of rice, mamaya, yung wala lang yan. The sack of rice that, sa isang sako for consumption, yung binibili natin, tama lang yun.
Okay.
Well, of course, sabihin niya, 10 yung anak niya, patayin mo yung tatay para matapos. Sobra kalibog yan.
But when it comes to the education of the children, will you also
Yes.
improve on?
I will pour money sa, sabi ko, itong tatlo na to, education, agriculture, health. Bubuhos ko yung pera ng gobyerno dyan. Yung syntax, or almost maybe 1/2 of it, pati yung kinikita ng pagkor, ibubuhos ko dyan sa mga tao. That will subsidize or finance I said the facility na
Okay, thank you.
Meron ako dyan, but it was bought by Inday, anak ko, yung mayor. Kita ninyo yung operating truck. It can do operation simultaneously. It's intended for mass, yung putok, granada. But we could buy one, also another one. Talagang kompleto yan.
Another question,
I
Mayor.
will go to, that I will send to the centers of population in the barangays.
Okay.
At doon na sila mag-opera.
Mayor, question lang po. At the rate that things are going on, especially with your campaign, where do you think are you strongest in terms of, you find certain areas wherein you think you're weak in this region or strong in this region that you don't have to campaign that So may mga saan ka strongest, saan ka you think you need to work more
Kung wala ka sana dito sa Davao, malakas ako. Sige ka, tanong-tanong yan, ubos sa panahon ko. I'm strongest in Mindanao.
Okay.
And quite optimistic that Central Visayas will go for me. Bisaya eh.
Okay.
I'm weakest sa
NCR.
Central, pati doon sa North. I really do not know my standing now. We'll be waiting something March 7 or 8, mag-field work yan sila. By March 15, mayroon yung, napunta naman ako. I was in Lawag. Maganda naman ang reception doon. I was in Tuguegarao. I have noticed that itong mga Ilocano, they are reserved, medyo sila. Dili ka gaya sa Bisaya o Tagalog makiat. To, the average Ilocano. But I could sense that some of them believed me, well, some of them. But they would always go for the roots.
Yes, which reminds me of the question of your standing in National Capital Region, since we have a lot of Visayans and Mindanaoans in these areas. How do you think of your fare?
I am strong sa Metro Manila. Talagang fight ako doon. But Metro Manila is no longer a place where you can call your own. It's already mixed. Ang Manila, hindi na yan. Hindi na masabi mo it's a Tagalog or a Bisaya. It's a mix like Davao. So anything can go there. But during the previous surveys, I got number 1. I don't know where I place now. But Metro Manila, malakas talaga. Because yung drugs, pati criminality. Yun yung issue nila. Itong Calabar Zone, itong Central, itong mga Tagalog, it's a fight of Binay and Grace. I don't know what's the rating now. Itong Calabar Zone, ito yung pinakabaga. What 46%. From Pangasinan down to Dagupan, Lingayen, yan, Bulacan, hanggang ito yung pinaka-vote rich talaga. Dito ang fight. Dito ang Cavite, Batangas. Well, somehow pero Mindanao, pati Central Visayas, medyo malakas ako.
But do you think the social media does not, do you think social media helps you? You're number 1 in social media.
Yes. Sa Rappler, ganon rin, social media. You know, people are simply tired. Yung medyo may utak, they are tired of corruption. Alam mo bakit hindi nag-click? You know why? I will tell you now. May a poor man's analysis. Bakit nawala yung spirit ng EDSA? Because except for Ramos, the succeeding governments. Remember that Arroyo was part of that cabal to overthrow. Noy was, ang spirit of EDSA was so, the expectations was really that strong na life would be better at least than the last one. It turned out na pareho-pareho lang ang lahat. Kaya ako, if you give me 6 years, and I will just connect my 6 years to the years of Estrada, Arroyo, Aquino, that's 24 years of kalbaryo ng Pilipino. Kung wala malang akong magawa sa inyo, look for somebody else. I don't need it. Tapos na, I have enough accolades in my life to make me happy until death. Wala na ako dyan sa ano. Kita mo, nung diluktantal lang ako, baski yung DQ, DQ na lang ako. I was not really dead serious na mamatay ako pag, hindi ako mamatay pag hindi ako presidente. Kaya kung itong 6 years, critical yan. Ako, simpleng pagkatao. I'm just ordinary. Kindergarten, ako 75. Hanggang College of Law, 75. Hanggang Bar, 75. Pero, pag ako ang naupo dyan, kailangan talaga, they want change. God, I will change this country. I said, even if it will cost me my life, honor, and the presidency. Di talaga papayag. Para ma-remember na itong bugok na 75 lang, may magawa pala. I do not have the credentials of Wharton. Yung isa, pretentious. Hindi naman pala graduate doon. He completed a 6-week course on special studies, global economy. It's not a diploma. It's a certificate of completion. Di mabuti pa pala ako. Watson. Every week, pag namalingke kami, Watson. Yan. Judoran sa ilok. Yung panlagay niya, ekstrahan ko rin kung ano yung Ano yung kutis niya dyan, sa mukha niya? Kutis ko rin. Yung kadyaman na ginagamit ko. Sabon niya. Sabon ko rin.
Pearl, your question?
Mayor, sa meeting mo with MILF last Saturday, they've made mention of Senator Cayetano. Senator Cayetano na sinasabi nila na Senator Cayetano is like a political person who is against the Moros. Yung parang sinasabi nila na pag isa kang politiko na kumakalaban sa Moros is para kang hero para sa ibang tao, especially those in Luzon. You are the president of Senator Cayetano. Paano po siya ipagtatanggol sa mga Moros knowing that most of the Moros are against him right now?
Look, during the deliberations of the BBL, some senators maybe gave too much of everything, of their sentiments. Kaya I realized on that may dynamics ang MI, pati si Cayetano. It was my first visit to Daramatan, the camp of the MI. Kaya hindi ko muna inano. Maybe it's some other time in private talks. Sinabi ko naman doon, I was frank enough to say, I am not here to campaign because I know that you MILF guys are apolitical. You do not side with any party now. I am here to state sabi kasi ni Murad that I will go to war without BBL. And to top it all, the worst really was, sabi ni Aquino, if there is no BBL passed this time, you might as well count body bags. Kaya ako medyo takot. I know that you're just maybe trying to find the time. It's always timing in this world. Kaya pumunta ako, sabi ko, do not cock the gun and pull the trigger because it will just result in a violence that we may not be able to handle even after elections. I would just like to assure you that if I make it, we will talk about it again. But more than that, I would work for a reconfiguration of your... Well, of course, you can have your own territory. That will be enough. It's yours. But come federalism, we will have to revise the territorial local governments. Kaya sabi ko, wag muna. Kasi sabi ni Murad, he will go to war. And I still remember that very distinctly na, alam mo, ayaw niya mapahiya. It's saving the face. Kasi ako na lang ang pumunta doon. Sabi ko, kung manalo ako, it's a matter of 4 months. Do not cock your gun and pull the trigger. It might precipitate a round of violence which we may never be able to control even during election time.
Mayor, as of the moment, ongoing yung all-out defensive war ng AFP against the BIFF in Central Mindanao. Si Jafar na mismo yung nagsabi na this is the reason, yung reason ng pag-aaway, ng pagbabarilan ng BIFF against sa AFP is dahil sa naudlot na BBL. What can you assure right now sa mga BIFF para huminto yung kaguluhan?
Ang problema niyan, this I will tell you for the first time, it was not really MI. It was the 104 and 105 battalion that did the Mampasano encounter. Sila yon. It was not really sanctioned by the MI. I know for a fact that it was the BIFF. Ang problema ng BIFF, they have pledged allegiance to ISIS, but ISIS is a bit, but they have recognized some personalities. I hope that the technology of the ISIS would never visit our country. Because kung magdating yan, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. Kita mo naman sa Iraq, yesterday and today, markets nila pumuputok so much blood. The human life has no value at all. At this time dyan sa Middle East. I hope it would not, because I said before, I would be also harsh. I would be harsh. as harsh I can ever be kung ako ang nandyan. Sana wag dumating.
Last question na lang, Mayor.
Tama rin. Good.
Um,
Both time.
Mayor, ilan na yung ibabayad mo sa Caritas with regards to your cursing?
May deposito na po ako doon. Somebody, Sami Oy gave me 50,000. Sabi ko, i-deposito ko kaagad doon. Sabi niya, magbayad ka na. So, every magputang ina ka, minus. Pero yung hindi sa ito, example mo lang. Hindi ba dito yung nag-speech ako, nagalit ako, ganun. Tsaka ako, tang ina, sabi ng mga media ng taga Maynila, mura din yan. Sumusubra kayo. Tang mo lang yan. Tang ina.
Okay, last question from Kimpan.
Bakit si Torion, hindi mo tanungin kung, kasi sabi, nagtatanong ako, kasi may, doon, mag-apply rin siya sa trabaho. Sabi ko, ito kay matuloy na, sabi ko, i-endorse kita kay, pagpasok kanina, sunod yan sa trabaho. Ikaw, maghintay ka kay, pero may nag-react man kaagad, ang mata niya very sharp. Yung walang trabaho?
Mayor, just quick. Can you change this country without having to change the Constitution?
Okay. Kindly talk louder.
Can we change this country without having to change the Constitution?
Yes. Alam mo, ganito yan eh. Pero to solve the Mindanao problem, mind you, at sinasabi ko na nagwa-warning na sa akin, someday mapag-usapan ninyo to, let it not be said that I did not warn you. Nothing short of federalism can appease the Moro people. Tandaan ninyo yan. Now, sa simple matter of an orderly country, nandyan na yung lahat batas. I do not have to be a dictator, but I will dictate the tempo of activity. I have to be a dictator. Kasi itong Pilipinong putang ina, ayaw talaga maniwala. Puro bright eh. And even yung mga sagat-taga, customs. Gawain mo yan. I have to be a dictator. I have to be a dictator. All that we have to do is to follow the law. Wala ng problema. Pag sabi, it's not good to rob, it's not good to establish a shabu. Huwag mo lang gawin. Follow the law, and I do not need to add more laws to what is this now. I do not have to be a dictator in the real sense of the word of overstaying. It's not in my system. My mother, you know that, led one of the leaders of the Yellow Friday. What was she fighting for? Against dictatorship. Hindi ako ganon. Ayaw ko nga tumakbo. That's the reason why it took me time really to declare because wala akong ambisyon. Kasi mato, tamad ako. Just to think of the 6 years magtrabaho ka. Jesus. Kaya I have to, pastor this time has to invest. Si pastor must invest in government. I will not spend a single centavo. Pero gusto ko everyday mag-uwi ako dito. After 5:36, undang na kong trabaho, tapos na ako, I will board yung jet ni pastor. Yung ginagamit ni Ruas, utang ina, hindi pa nahulog yung ihawa na yan. Yan ang gamitin. Go, that's 1 hour, 10 minutes. So, by that time, I can have dinner with my family. Go right to sleep. Sinor. Ayaw ko na yung sinor lang. Tskug, tulog. Gising ka. Kung wala na kain ka lang breakfast aeroplano. Simple lang man ako. Chicken sandwich or tuna sandwich. Yan lang ko. Okay na ako. Tapos, trabaho, uwi dito. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Mayor, once elected, will you be sponsoring scholarship grants for law school students?
Again, ma'am?
Once elected po, will you be sponsoring scholarship grants to law school students?
Yes, we're doing that. Every school is doing that. For those guys who are really bright. Kasabi ko sa military, double their salary at once upon assumption of office. Sinabi ko kay Tano yan, maghanap ka ng yung pera. It would cost us about something like 49 billion. Kasi I cannot govern a country na yung police corrupt. Not so much about the military, but in-increasean mo itong mga yawaan to, you have to increase everybody. Alam mo, ang police, there's so much corruption. They are into it. In Manila, it is an organized crime. They got their shabu from courtesy of De Lima sa Muntinlupa, and they were parlaying their influencers. So I have to get rid of PDEA, Philippine Drugs Enforcement, that has to be disbanded. I will have to overhaul the police. Some generals, they have to go.
Last question, you have? Yes, ma'am. That would be the... You have, Lovely, meron ka pa? Oh, sige.
Sir, for Attorney Acuenda lang po. Yes, sir. More than 9 schools po have applied for approval, but only JMC was approved. What do you think po na meron yung JMC? Kaya po ito na-approve?
Well, JMC complied with all the requirements and the standards prescribed by the Legal Education Board. And that is why there was already approval granted to them this January. So I would say that it is because they have laid down all the necessary requirements to be able to operate a law school. And I think you've seen that their facilities are quite impressive.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Lovely, last question.
Alam mo, sa totoo lang, going by the standard, yung innate niya, pastor goes for the highest standard. Tingnan mo, first graduate niyan, di ba mo, may mag-top ng bar yan. Pero isa lang rin ang nag-graduate siguro. Pero okay lang, basta mag-top sa bar. Yeah, alam mo si pastor, he's not after money. He's after quality. Ganyan si pastor. He won't mind losing in the first 3 years. Ganyan si pastor as long as you go for the best. Kita mo yung facilities niya. And even lahat, pati yung sa radyo, tayong aparatos ng media, walang makatalo sa kanya. Even yung mga malalaking network, they fail in comparison sa mga equipment ni pastor. It's world class. Tingnan mo yung TV niya.
Okay, Lovely.
Good evening, Mayor. Just over the weekend, you met with some women leaders in the city who have come out in the open in supporting your presidency, but they are pushing for several agenda, including the expansion of anti-sexual harassment, anti-rape law, and specifically the enactment of divorce law, Philippine style. What's your take on this, sir?
We are the only local government na may code for women. It's a code actually, and for children. Tayo lang, wala nang iba. Now, in the matter of treatment, there are national laws that would govern this kind of things. Sexual harassment, if you're an employee. Wala tayo problema dyan. All we have to do is really to just implement the protection needed by the women. We have enough laws actually. Ang hinihingi lang nila doon yung, well, a lot of, more of, I'm worried about yung funding. If you have the money, yung mga marginalized, not really marginalized, outside the margin of hunger and sheer poverty, but to make their life more productive. Yun ang gusto nilang sinusulong. Yung sexual harassment, madali yan kasi there are criminal laws to go by. But yung itong mga livelihood and to make them useful and productive, stricto ako dito sa battery ng asawa and even children. Pag mayroon dito na babae na binugbog, pati yung bata, patay ka sa akin. Talagang matanggap mo rin yung bugbog, pati I do it to them what you do to your children and to your wife. That's the rule. Yan ang perfect human rights. You give, you get.
Okay,
How about the divorce, sir? Philippine style.
No,
Divorce, Philippine style.
I am not ready for that.
You're not in favor.
You know, kasi itong separation, if there's a chance really of reconciliation, you should go for it. There's, at least there's a room, there's a space. Alam mo kasi ang divorce, putulin mo. Kawawa kasi, just like in America, the most horrible thing there is that what happens to the children. Hindi ako ready sa divorce. At saka yung abortion, no? It's a no-no to me. Legal separation, we can do some refinements in the law. But to completely cut, mahirap yan. You have to leave a space there where they can talk together and maybe reconcile for the sake of the children. You do not have to love your wife forever, but you must love her because of the children. Karamihan dito gano'n naman eh. The same thing, love has lessened considerably. But because of the children, you have to love your wife. There's a minimal feeling for the mother of your children. Ako kasi ako hiwalay ako, but I go to my wife. I pay for all expenses, hospitalization niya. So she's my wife. But bigyan mong kunti na, yung iba tayo, wala nang pakialam, kisihoda ka sa buhay mo. Mahirap yan. Hindi ako ready dyan sa divorce. Maybe a simplified form of legal separation. Kasi yung iba nagbubugbugan in front of the children. If the social workers lahat naman may intervention, nag-i-interdict kasi ang social workers dyan. Okay lang yan. They should be allowed to do the study and make the recommendation to the court. But divorce, mahirap. I am not for it. I'm sorry.
Thank you,
Bakit?
Mayor.
May plano ka?
Wala po.
Patay na lang natin para...
okay, that's a question
Attorney
for...
Torian.
Yes?
Attorney Torian pa. Last question.
Yes, Attorney Torian.
Attorney Torian, you said earlier that the permit given to the new law school is only good for 1 year. What would be the factors that would make the board decide to give it permits in the future?
Well, they have a system. The Legal Education Board has now implemented a kind of permitting where a school has to perform within a given school year, and there is going to be a test again as to whether or not that particular school is given another permit to operate a second year, and then third year and fourth year. So that's the system. I think LEB adopted this in order to ensure that schools would really be excelling in the law course. So we have a job to do. It's a continuing job, and we have to perform well so that LEB will give us a permit for second year, and then thereafter third year and fourth year.
Thank you, sir.
King, you have a question for Attorney Torian?
Yes, sir, for Attorney Aguende.
Okay.
Sir, is it lawful?
Kadot.
Yes, sir.
Kadali. Kadot lang kay... I have to beg your indulgence, the ambassador of... nandyan ako kanina pa. I overshot my time here. Nice meeting you. Ibigay mo yung application kay... Si ano? Attorney Torian. Thank you. Mauna ako kasi yung ambassador.
Okay, palapakan natin ulit ang ating future president. There's a question by Kiking.
Yes, just for Attorney Aguende. Sir, is it lawful for a law school to